2022 is the year of changes, and the insurance market is changing as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Milton, and I am the broker of Franklin Realty Consultants and the team lead at Milton and Associates. Today, I'm interviewing a good friend of mine, David Vargas, who's the agency owner for State Farm Insurance. David has been in the business for a very long time. Don't let the lack of wrinkles fool you. And he's going to answer all the questions that you may have. And if not, we can answer directly. So David, thank you for coming today to help us out. I had a lot of questions. I'm in the business and I see these rates for insurance just going up, skyrocketing, flood insurance, everything. Tell me, what's happening in the insurance market in the state of Florida?
Thank you for having me, Milton, first and foremost. And like Milton said, I have been in the insurance industry for quite some time, 18 years to be exact. There is a lot of changes happening in the Florida market, specifically when it comes to the homeowners insurance as well as the flood insurance. The first thing is a lot of carriers are pulling out of the state of Florida, which is causing other carriers to carry that burden of having to be able to accept some of these policies. As you may know already, the only company that can offer homeowners insurance to every consumer in the state of Florida is Citizens, which is owned and operated by the state of Florida.
But it's not even really an insurance company, right? It's a super fund or something like that.
It is basically homeowners of last resort. So, but the good thing is that they will definitely pay out on a claim, being that it's a last resort company. So what Citizens has experienced with all these other companies pulling out of the state completely, they'll come in here for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and collect the premiums, no losses, no anything, and then leave the state of Florida, leaving that burden on Citizens. So Citizens is trying to depopulate a lot of these policies to, let's say, we call it the residual market. So Florida Peninsula, Edison, all these other companies, and they can actually adjust the rate immediately, assuming that policy from Citizens. Citizens only adjusts the rate at about a 5% increase on an annual basis, 5 to 10%, where these other companies, assuming these policies, will be able to actually implement a rate increase of 15% on up. So that's a huge increase. So what you are looking to do in the initial state is look for a home that has a lot of credits already that you can take advantage of, and that would be eligible for a A+ rated company, like for instance,
Can you explain what these credits would be and how one would go about getting these credits?
Absolutely. The number one thing that you want to look for is new construction, but we are in Florida and it's really hard to find new construction because a lot of the homes that are already built are built like bunkers. So why would we knock something down that's perfectly constructed? So one thing that you can look at is a home that has been updated as far as the roof, with a brand new roof or a roof that's 2001 and newer. Clay shingle roofs are a great example.
So with these roofs, there's something about straps or toenails or toe hooks or double straps. You know, what's the difference and what gives you the best coverage? And if you have an older roof, can you do anything to it to still, without having to replace the entire roof, get the credits? Because like if you just put it on, but maybe the previous seller didn't put it on the way the insurance company would have liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's like the types of nails that they use. They can use tab nails, hooks, like you said, or the straps that they have, the type of roof covering that it has. If it has shingles, if it has a clay roof, it has a metal roof. There's different credits for every single one. So just because you have a 3-tap shingle roof, it doesn't mean that your roof is less qualified to receive a discount than a metal roof, for instance. All it means is just the way that it is strapped onto the roof of your home and gives you the credits.
So it's not so much the roof covering as it is how the roof is actually attached to the house.
Exactly. How the roof is attached to the house, as well as the shape of the roof. There's hip, there's gable, there's flat. There's a combination of all of them.
Flat roof is terrible, and we see that all over South Florida, especially when people want to put an addition on their home and then they save themselves money by just putting a flat roof over it. And it's my understanding that if the flat roof portion of the home is more than 10% of the entire roof, it doesn't matter what your roof is made out of, it's considered a flat roof. right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's 100%
Yeah.
correct. And a lot of these companies do not want to assume that risk. A lot of the residual market that we call it at State Farm will flat out not even open up for a flat roof. So the only company that can assume that risk would be Citizens. Again,
Right.
putting the state of Florida with a higher burden, being that no one wants to assume that risk. Because like you said, it's a terrible roof, and a lot of people are trying to cut corners to save money when they're flipping a home,
Right.
and it looks beautiful inside, but it's going to affect your premium rate on your homeowner.
And I've seen some beautiful homes just with flat roofs, and it just doesn't make any sense at all. But that's what we got to deal with. And I know it's cheap. You can just put a rubberized coating on it every 5 years, and you probably won't have a leak. But in a hurricane, it could fly off, right?
Oh, absolutely. The structure, there went your roof. Absolutely. It's a lot easier for it to fly off because it's just the wind is going. It doesn't have a way of deviating and escaping from the actual
And the
hurricane.
hip roofs are down on all 4 sides. It's like a pyramid.
Right.
So that's the best roof. And then gable is going to be flat on one side and then down on the other, like most people are used to seeing that. What about windows, shutters? Does that make any difference, whether it's windows or shutters?
Not when it comes to the wind mitigation discounts, being that the wind mitigation is solely based off of your roof. But the eligibility qualifications for your other companies when you're doing a 4-point inspection. So some companies will require a 4-point inspection on your home if it is 10 plus years, or other companies if it's 30 plus years, where last resort companies will be 40 plus years.
Oh, I didn't know that there was a difference. So some companies 10 plus years, other companies 30, and other companies 40. I always had it like if it's more than 30 years old, you need a 4-point. I haven't been ordering them all the time. So I need to change that. You should get a 4-point if it's more than 10 years old. That way you can apply for more companies.
Right.
What's in a 4-point?
So a 4-point is all 4 points of the home. The HVAC, which is the heat and the AC, the plumbing, the electrical panel, and the roof. Again, so the roof, like I said, in Florida especially, is really important on all the credits that you're going to receive when it comes to getting discounts on your homeowner's insurance. And it's also going to make it eligible for companies outside of Citizens.
I just bought a home and it had hurricane shutters on all the windows, even the front door, but not on the garage. And the garage had an older door. So I did order windows 14 weeks out, but in the meantime, I put the new hurricane garage door on, and they're going to send me a check for $800. I think that's reduced my premium for like $4,500 to $3,700, which I hope I did that math right.
So with that being said, you want to make sure that all the openings are covered correctly when it comes to installing these hurricane impact windows. Because great example is your garage door can have a small little window. That window wouldn't be hurricane resistant. Right. And what insurance companies are looking for is either the etching on the window or the sticker that shows that it's hurricane impact, or let's say a 6-pound missile impact resistant. That's where you get the huge credits as well.
I'm actually removing, it's like a cement, like dolphin, from the 50s. Nice. And it's like a window covering, but it breeze through. I'm removing that and putting a hurricane impact window just so I don't have the possibility of them saying that's not covered.
Right. And after you do that, you want to make sure that you get the installation receipts, copies sent to your insurance agent, which, hey, that's me. So you can forward that information over to your agent so that they can go ahead and submit that to underwriting, showing that the sliding glass door is hurricane impact resistant, as well as how many missiles pounds it can resist. And it'll be all on the certificate that they provide for you.
And so what about plumbing? I know a lot of older homes have cast iron plumbing. Some of them have partial replacement. Some of the others have full replacement. Is there a difference? And then what about trenchless pipe lining, where they don't even take out the plumbing? They just put in like an epoxy ring, another like the pipe within a pipe kind of situation. Is there differences there?
Absolutely. Some companies won't even accept you if you don't have the correct kind of plumbing that they're looking for. So like galvanized plumbing or Orangeburg plumbing, which was used back in the 40s, it had a certain life expectancy and it just collapsed completely after, let's say, 50 years. So if they did a partial replacement or a full replacement, you want to make sure that that's included in your 4-point, showing the replacement date as well as any permits that they may be able to pull on the assessor's website to be able to provide to your insurance company. And qualify you for the correct company, not just the state company, but put you with another company that can assume that risk and give you the proper credits.
You need a permit. In
Yes.
Miami, some people do it on the weekend. Do you need to show a permit not for all that, or can they just say all of the plumbing has been changed? I bought a house that is elevated, so it has a crawl space, and I didn't change the plumbing. It was already changed to PVC. Will I qualify for credit, or do I have to pull permits?
If it's on the 4-point and it indicates on there the replacement, it would actually show on the 4-point the date that it was replaced.
Okay.
So the month and the year. But again, if it was, let's use a vehicle, for example, you're doing all your oil changes versus you taking it to a Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube will actually report that to Carfax, where you won't be able to report that to Carfax because you're doing it yourself. So the 4-point inspector is not going to be able to actually put a date on there. So you're not going to get any credits, being that it wasn't done correctly with the state.
So you got to apply for a permit after the fact in that case, so that you have the history. Okay.
Exactly. You want that paper trail, especially as a new consumer purchasing a home. You don't want to move into a home where it was Jimmy rigged and they said, yeah, absolutely, I replaced the plumbing 100%.
Miami?
I lived down there for a bit, and I mean, Florida's a different animal, so I am completely aware of the way that they do things. And yeah, it's like, as a consumer purchasing a home, if they're telling you that they've replaced the roof, and my brother-in-law is a roofer and he did it for me. Okay, well, did your brother-in-law apply for the permits that the state and the county is going to require to be able to apply these credits?
So I've actually encountered a lot of homes where a roof was done after one of those last big hurricanes, and there's so many that I've encountered that it had a new roof, but there's no evidence, there's no paper trail, there's no way of proving the age of the roof. And those homeowners haven't gotten any credits whatsoever. Matter of fact, I've seen insurance rates go from $4,000 to $10,000 because they have no credits at all, even though the roof isn't necessarily bad. It's just you can't prove how old it is.
To that example right there, you will have a lot of people that are going door knocking after a hurricane or a really bad storm.
Every roofer from up north comes down.
Yeah, and they're knocking on your door. Oh, your neighbor just got a brand new roof. You're entitled to a new roof because I can see that there's damage. Your roof can be completely okay. They're telling you this. And let's say you do open a claim without actually needing to open one, that's going to also affect your eligibility for a company. Even if the company pays 0% out, it does impact your eligibility with the company as well as your rate. So a lot of these people are looking for a get rich quick scheme, and a storm is a great way of going and knocking on doors and trying to get you a new roof and not actually getting you one.
Tell me about flood insurance, because I had a transaction recently where the seller was paying $500 a year for flood insurance, and it was in Biscayne Park. It wasn't by the water. It was totally inland, about a mile and a half. And the new FEMA rate, I think it went from $500 to $2,800, and it killed the deal. It no longer made sense. They didn't qualify now because of that higher payment, or they were just scared or nervous. They didn't want to be stuck paying what they would normally pay for like hazard insurance just for flood insurance. So why did that happen?
What a lot of people are not aware of, if your policy is with FEMA, which is the actual government who is covering for flood insurance, and it's the best, actually. I love the way that they operate. They do such a great, wonderful job when it comes to paying out claims, as well as their underwriting and making sure that everything is correct and giving you all the proper discounts and ratings that you should be entitled to. A lot of consumers aren't aware that if you're selling your home, you can actually transfer over your flood policy to the new owner.
Wow, okay. Maybe we should have thought of that. But I heard also that they may be changing the flood maps or how they're pricing the flood insurance because they're billions of dollars in debt.
We all pay a surcharge for all of these government mandated insurance companies through our electrical bill and all that good stuff. So we're always paying to try to make sure that we have those funds available for a huge loss. But with when it comes to the remapping, yes, that is correct. A lot of the areas are also going to be grandfathered in. So if you're already grandfathered in, your rate isn't going to be impacted. The reason that they're adjusting this is because of the fact that, water is changing. So a lot of people believe in global warming or don't believe in it.
Whether you believe in it or not, it's coming.
It's coming, especially being in Florida. I recommend flood insurance, even if you're not in a flood zone. So if you're in an X zone, which is basically indicating you're not in a flood zone at all, carry flood insurance because you're in a hurricane state. Once water starts to rise, that's considered a flood. So because your roof blew off, that's the actual hurricane claim that you're filing. But when water starts to rise up in your home, then your flood insurance policy kicks in. Whether you're in a flood zone or not, I recommend it. If you're not, obviously your rates are going to be a lot less expensive than a person that's in a flood zone. To your example of the homeowner that the deal didn't go through because of that, the ratings, actually, I moved from an area that's a little bit more elevated and was in an X zone to an area that's in a flood zone. It's AE, and they consider it not a very good area because of the fact that we're so close to the water. I can see the water from my window here. And a lot of things that we don't realize is if you have your first floor, which is all garage, that's going to save you a lot of money on your flood zone. So you want to make sure that when you're doing your quote for your flood insurance, providing the elevation certificate, taking the guessing out of.
Where do you get the elevation certificate? You got to get that from the survey company?
There's different ways of doing it. You can actually ask your realtor to get in contact with the seller's realtor and see if the owner currently has an elevation certificate, and you can reutilize that one with the new quoting process. The other way is you can order an elevation certificate. On average, they're anywhere from $300 to $500. But to save some money, a lot of sellers will actually include the elevation certificate. That it's going to save you, like I said, anywhere from $300 to $500 from having to get that done.
This new rates for flood insurance. So I read an article that mentioned flood insurance policies. And it said that new homeowners with new policies, their rates would be adjusted to the new rates as of October 2021. But then every homeowner that has an existing policy today, they would be subject to a potential increase come April 2022. Is that right?
Let's look at it this way, okay? So if you are going to a gas station to put gas and you have a 1998 vehicle, are you going to pay the same gas rate as the person who has a 2022 vehicle? Or being that you have an older vehicle and have been driving it a lot longer, you're entitled to lower gas prices?
No.
No. So that's the way that every insurance company is, whether it's FEMA or any homeowner's insurance. Everyone is going to be subject to either a rate increase or rate decrease, whether you're new to that company or you are a renewal policy holder. So if their rates are going up, they will go up. If the rates are going to be adjusted with a rate decrease, you'll experience that rate decrease. So let's say that it's a new person that's purchasing a home and it's after October, they will have the new rating factor already in their new policy that they're taking out with the flood company. If it is a policyholder that renews after April 15th, if they are remapped and rezoned, and let's say they were on the cusp of being on an X zone, or there's a lot of homes that are actually in two zones, being that the home is right in the middle of an AE and an X.
Maybe the backyard is in the flood zone.
Right.
The house on the highest part.
So let's say they remap the area right there, and now everything is not in a flood zone. They'll experience the rate decrease, being that it got remapped for them, and they're going to see their entire house being in an X zone versus a split zone. So yes, people will see either rate increases or rate decreases depending on your home location and the zone that you're classified in.
Final question. If I am a homeowner, what steps can I take to make my house hard so that I can get the best policy without breaking the bank? Like, what can I do to my home to save money on my insurance? Because insurance is a big issue in South Florida.
If your home is built after 1994 in Miami-Dade or Broward, you are eligible for a better rate than a home that was built before that. And you may be eligible for other companies as well. For instance, a lot of companies have a payroll tool that they utilize to see if your home is even eligible for that company. So if it does come back eligible for a company, keep in mind that you pay less, pay later. So if you're going to choose to go on price alone and they put you with a company that doesn't have the resources to pay on a loss. And
highly rated.
exactly, you want to make sure that you do your research on the company that they're going to place you with. And wind mitigations. If your cousin Jose did your roof, you may not qualify for a roofing company, I should say, to come out and replace your roof, and it was replaced in 2005, for instance. You may be eligible for some discounts that you're not taking advantage of. So you want to make sure providing a wind mitigation on your inspection, making sure that you inform your insurance company if you already own a home that, hey guys, I got a new roof, what should I do? You want to provide them with a wind mitigation. We cannot use a roof certification showing that you have a new roof. We need the mitigation because it gives us all of the factors that we have to plug into the tool to apply the credits that you are going to be eligible for. So if you are a new buyer looking to purchase a home, the age of the roof has a big impact on the price of your insurance, being that the wind mitigation credits do affect that, as well as your 4-point. Keep in mind that all 4 points of your home want to be up to date for new purchases, or even current homeowners. If you've done some updates on your 4 points that I mentioned earlier, get a 4-point inspection done and provide it to your insurance company, because you may be entitled to some discounts on there as well.
And the 4-point, the insurance inspections are going to cost you maybe $100, $150. That could save you hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely. I know a company up here in Pinellas County that ranges, like you said, for both inspections together, they'll give you a bundle package. There's companies that will do it with the home inspection, which I never recommend doing that. So if you're a new purchase and you have your home inspection, get your wind mitigation and 4-point inspected after the initial home inspection, because that inspector might mention that you have a leak on your roof that needs to be updated, and you have a hazard on your electrical panel that needs to be updated.
First, right? Has it like double tapping, right? Somebody adds.
Exactly. So what they'll do is, like, I'm just going to go ahead and do your 4-point wind mit and your home inspection. And I just told you that you have a leak in your roof that may require a whole new roof to be done.
You don't want to 4-point or your wind mitigation.
Exactly. So wait after they inspect your home and give you all of that information, because what if you do need a full new roof and you can negotiate that in the purchase, or the roof has a less than 5-year life expectancy is a huge thing to take into account. A lot of homeowners companies want newer roofs. So if it's at that 3-year mark, make sure that you speak to seller, the buyer, come to some kind of consensus of the age of the roof. That's
there's even some financing. They won't give you any financing unless the roof has at least 2 years or 7 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yes, some go by 3, some go by 5. So on average, let's just say 5-year life expectancy on the roof. And if you're purchasing a townhome or a condo, you can speak to the association and get these inspections that they may have already completed for you to provide to your insurance company, because just because you're getting a condo policy, you should be entitled to all the credits that a regular homeowner policy is getting.
I appreciate all the input that you have given us. Tell us, how can people contact you directly? Do you have phone number, email address?
Yes, absolutely. So they can contact my agency at 727-564-9599. They can visit my website, which is davidinsured.com. Yeah, they can email me at david@davidinsured.com. I have 5 licensed agents in my office that are fully well-versed in everything that has to do with homeowners, and they'll be able to guide you correctly with any questions that you have. If you just have questions in regards to what your current policy has, as well as any credits that you're entitled to that you're not taking advantage of, and you want us to look it over for you, we'll be more than happy to take a look at your policy and offer you the right guidance to make sure to get all the credits you should get.
Fantastic. David, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. You educated me, and I will therefore educate other people.
I really appreciate the time, Milton. And like I said, if you have any questions and your consumers have any questions, feel free to reach out, okay?
Fantastic, buddy. Thanks. Take care.
All right, thanks a lot. You too.